Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Bleached and this is the Bleached YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure that you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already to join this ever so blue family. So in today's video, as you saw by the title, I am going to be sharing with you guys a story time about the time I bleached my skin unknowingly. Let's get into it. Let's take it way back. I was still in high school. I think I was in my late grade 9. I was deep into grade 9, going into grade 10. So my aunt had come home to visit. I think it was the December holidays, or I don't know, that 1 week holiday in October or something, but it was later in the year. So she came by at home and she was using this cream. So I overheard them talking. Obviously I have aunts only. I overheard them talking and just giving each other advice and stuff like that. And then she noted that, hey, I use this cream, it's really helping me with my skin, and her skin was clearing out. So she was using that cream to kind of get rid of the dark marks on her body, and she was telling us how it really works. So also note that my aunt is a yellow bone girl, so when she was using this particular product, she didn't necessarily have like extreme results, but maybe at that time, maybe she had started using it, I don't know, but she naturally has like a bright skin tone. The effect wasn't that extreme for me to be like, you're definitely using bleaching cream. At that time, bleaching wasn't at its peak. Currently, I think bleaching your skin is at its peak. So at that time, just a few people were using it, like the ones that I was exposed to. I asked my aunt to show me the product, how it looks like on the outside, and this is how it looks like. Hopefully I can find a picture to attach it. So I was using that cream and I didn't know that it was like a bleaching cream. I honestly didn't know. So the reason for me to decide on wanting to buy that product was particularly because I had grown insecure of my skin. My face was always darker than my legs. My legs were always brighter than my face, so it wasn't an issue for me until I think grade 9 or grade 8, I'm not particularly sure. Someone noted when we were wearing a summer uniform that, hey, your legs are brighter than your face. If you're coming by and maybe your legs show first, I wouldn't expect your face to be attached to your legs. So that kind of dawned in on me, and I'm just like, I was thinking about it. I was just like, it made me feel very insecure about myself, of which it was something that I actively also noted that, oh yes, my legs are very bright compared to my face. Like my face is a darker shade, maybe 2 shades darker than my legs. So that is the stance then in which I decided to want that cream, because I wanted to balance out my skin tone. It wasn't something that I was like, I want to bleach, I want to become a yellow bone. It wasn't like my mind and my train thoughts were not along that track. It was more so I want to be the same skin tone throughout. In hindsight now, I realize that being in the sun for long periods of time also influenced like my skin tone, because I played sports all year long. So the first 2 terms were always hockey, so training was like 3 times a week, and then the second part of the year, the third and fourth term, I will be playing soccer, and I also had like training 3 times a week. So also, and then matches maybe on Saturday. So 4 days in a week I'm doing sport. And then sometimes, because I also was a scout, I was a scout girl, on my honor, I promise that I will do my best to do my duties to God and my country, to help other people at all times, to obey the scout law. Period. Be prepared. Scout's motto. So also on Fridays we would have meetings, and sometimes during those Fridays we would have to like learn marching sequences and stuff, and also some weekends we would go and hike, you know, so also that exposure to the sun. And some weekends we would go for the entire weekend camping. So all of those things contributed to really my skin not having like that opportunity to build, I guess. It's lighter texture. Even though I did have like sunscreen, I always bought sunscreen, but I guess it wasn't as effective to me. So that is the reason why I decided that I wanted to use that cream. I wasn't very much informed of the fact that this is like a creaming, like a bleaching cream to your skin. I just thought it would help balance out my skin tone throughout my body. I had gone out, probably the next time I was in town, I went out and I bought the cream in just some Pakistani shop, and then I started using the cream. Also, my aunt had noted that for it to be most effective, I must, you know, use it, splurge myself in it during the night. So I was doing that. I was splurging myself during the night, and I was using it. The smell was absolutely disgusting, but I was just like, focus on the bigger cause here. We are focused. We want to have the same skin tone throughout the body. So I would splurge myself in this bleaching lotion. I would sleep. In the morning, I wake up, I wash up, I go to school, I come back from school, I wash up, I put on this bleaching lotion, I go to sleep. So I used to do it every single day. And then around about the following year, I think at that time it was like the beginning of the year. So December, my skin had time to kind of regroup and recuperate its kind of lighter skin texture, because when it was December, I was home a lot, so my skin would seem as if it's brighter, but I'll just be like, oh, my skin on my face would seem as if it's brighter, but I would just be like, oh, it's because I was staying indoors for a long time, hence therefore thus is 3 plus 4 is Pythagoras is 3. So it makes sense, but I wasn't fully convinced that it was my natural skin tone. Also, that's another thing. I thought at some point that my legs were deceiving me and my natural skin tone is on my face, because my face is the thing that I see most, and my legs are just lighter because I don't like expose my legs that much. And then I started like wearing short shorts at home, and I would just sit in the sun. Literally, I would sit in the shade like this, and then the sun would hit my legs. So just to burn my legs, kinda to make it equal to my face, because I was just like, what's going on? What's going on? Why am I a top deck? Actually, I am a top tech. I was very much obsessed around the time about like my skin tone being the same. I really dreaded summer because we had to wear like summer uniform, and with the summer uniform we had to wear the short white socks. So unlike in winter, we would wear the long socks. So when I would wear those short socks, then it would be visible with how when to color nah, and I was very insecure about that. So when I took that cream, that bleaching cream, my vision was just like, now I'm not going to be insecure about summer. Because why? Because my face and my legs are gonna be a combination. They are going to makes sense. At first I didn't note it. I still felt somewhat significantly dark compared to my face was significantly dark compared to my legs, but I kept on using it. And then it was in grade 10, so again I was exposed to the sunlight in January. Like the January sun is no joke. It's dry and pimpy, and it's piercing the skin. So in the January sun, I guess it revoked all of the work that the cream was doing in December, so it wasn't so out there that okay, we are bleaching our skin. And then it was winter, so in winter, that is when my face went straight up to yellow bone. To yellow bone, I'm telling you, straight up to yellow bone. I think also because in winter there isn't that much sun, and also you always wearing something that's warm, you're indoors, there's minimalistic exposure to the sun, to just outside in general. So when winter came, I was self-made yellow bone. That's on period. Achievement. Achiever. I'm an achieving girl. It's around the time that people started to talk. Obviously, I think they were talking, but now that I'm fully immersed into the yellow bone community, obviously we gotta yapper about you. So people start noting that I'm yellow. At least some of them are decent enough to ask me, you see, why are you yellow, like what's happening? And at the time I had like a very yellow bone boyfriend, so some of them would tease me like, oh, you're trying to be like him, you're trying to look like him, you're trying to scheme to. It was pretty obvious to people that I was bleaching my skin, but to me, at the back of my mind, the reason it didn't really take me off that much, or it didn't really offend me altogether, that they were talking and they were making assumptions without really asking me, some of them, it was a thing of, I had that in mind that I want to balance out my skin tone. So if it takes you yapping your mouth, I don't mind, like as long as my skin is, you know, it's one combination, it's one syllabus. As people are talking, I started, I guess, kind of being like consciously aware that I'm actually in fact a yellow bone at this point. I'm lighter than my face is lighter than my body. So I do think at some point I was using it on my entire body, and then I was just like, if I continue using it on my legs, they will become even more yellower, because there were marks also on my legs from just injuries and stuff like that. So I wanted to get rid of those marks, and also my arms as well, like they would burn up and stuff. They were also darker, but it was just weird, like my skin tone was just weird, like because from my neck going down, just all this area was just yellow. My arms, my face, my neck, it was just dark. For me, it wasn't a bleaching cream, it was making amends, doing right where there has been wrong doing. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm recognizing that actually I'm fully immersed into the yellow bone family, and I cut back, like I stopped using it completely. So when that happened, my skin broke out. Oh my gosh, I think for me as a teenager, your skin breaking out is just the worst thing ever, you know, because I was never someone who had skin issues. So now I'm having like rash, and like I had like a lot of rash through my face, on my neck, even some parts of my arms and stuff. And I was just like, I was feeling no, cut the shot, I'm done, cut the shot,
I'm done, cut the show, I'm done, take me off, take me off, cut the show, I'm done.
When I decided to end my bleaching journey, because I felt like, okay, there had been, you know, amendments. Now my face looks like my leg. But there was a point where I realized when I stopped using the cream, my face would just go dark. And it wasn't even a distinguisher to gradually it will go dark. I would just go darker than even the original skin tone that this bleaching cream found me in. I was darker. Hi. So the sequence of events was the fact that people started really noting that, oh, you're so yellow now. What's going on, girl? Why are you yellow, Melody? And then when people started recognizing that, I wanted to cut off the usage of the cream. So when I cut it off, I went completely darker than my skin shade. The original skin shade that this bleaching cream found me in, I was darker than that. I was a shadow of myself. And then I had like my skin breaking out. So I had like rash all over my face, my neck, everywhere that I had been putting the cream in, rash. And the rash would have like small, I think it was like a lot of like small pimples, small, tiny. And then I think they made me sweat a lot. Like I would sweat a lot, and then I just looked like the grass in the early hours of the morning. Like I looked like the dew. I'm realizing that okay, I can't completely just stop this thing. I have to gradually cut down on it. So because I used to put it on me every single night, I just cut it to skip a day at least. I would skip a day, put it on, skip a day, put it on. So I had to do that to just kind of tone down a bit so that I can again look like my legs. And it became really taxing to me because that was grade 10. Like I blew up in my yellow bone era mid of grade 10, around June in winter. And then my fall as a yellow bone began in, I think, grade 11, beginning of the year once again because of January sunlight. Those 3 years, imagine like 3 whole years I'm using bleaching cream. And sometimes it didn't work. Sometimes I would buy like a huge bottle and perhaps it was expired or didn't work, and I'd have to like, obviously my grandmother is not funding this lifestyle of a yellow bone, she's not, and I had to save money. So now because I had to save money quicker, perhaps I bought a product and it wasn't doing the thing, I would have to buy another product quickly. So sometimes I would have to walk away. Imagine all of that admin just to sustain something that was never mine to begin with. Oh my gosh. And it was horrible. So I would have to walk sometimes. I would have to get lifts and stuff like this just so I can quickly get to the amount that this thing is worth and buy it. I think the big product was like 50 rands, but 50 rands back then had a bit of more value than it does now, so it was quite a lot of money. And then when I'm in the sun, like the sun just undoes everything that this bleach cream does. So now my skin is going back and forth. Obviously I didn't stop doing sports. Maybe in matric, yes, I did minimize on sports, but see, grade 10 and grade 11 I was like in the heart of sports. So I would be exposed to the sun, I would have sunscreen, be dark, and then get home, and then the following morning I am a yellow bone again at school. And then after school, when I'm in the playground, they see me transform. I was morphed, transforming in front of the other kids. Transform. Yellow. Disarm. Black bone. The thing is, I wasn't like brown. Like I wouldn't go to brown, the skin tone that I was, like dark brown. I would just go straight into the darkness of the pit. I would be black. And then the following day, the people that saw me, that we were training with, would see me and I'm yellow. Girl, What's going on? Even me, myself, and I didn't believe that this is the same person. Because why, when I come home, before I sleep, I see you in the mirror and you are dark. When I wake up, you are yellow. Who's the you? Imposter. It was very taxing on just my, I wouldn't say my mental health, but it was very taxing on just my esteem, my self-esteem, because I just felt now bound to this thing, because if I stopped it, my skin would like break out. And the first time that it broke out, it was like that for an entire week. So I thought it will gradually come back to its normal state, and then I would just completely stop using it. But it didn't for an entire week, and that entire week wasn't like during the holidays. I was going to school, and then that time, like, people were looking at me. I was just like, oh my. And whilst like this, my skin is breaking out, I'm also becoming like darker than my skin shade. And it was just like, ugh, man, like ngaze ngayifaka entweni. Like, why did I have to put myself through that? But again, my mind and my intentions were never to bleach my skin to be yellow bone. That was not the reason why I had taken that journey. But now this thing made me feel like I'm bound to it, like I'm captive to it, and I feel like it's something that I would have to do the rest of my life. Because why? Because I'm trying to balance my legs and my face to be the same skin color. So I was just like, I was exhausted financially. This thing was also taxing on me. Like, I could have been doing other things with that money, not that like I was like in debt or anything like that, but I couldn't, because I had to invest in what? In my yellow bone business. So I was in grade 12 now. I even knew how to balance it out now in terms of applying it. At this point, I knew where to buy it specifically, so that I don't buy a fake thing and then I'm going to burn, my yellow boneness is gonna shy away. No. And I knew even in my budget, even in my allowance, that this much and much I have to. So I knew it takes these amounts of days for it to finish, and this is where I can buy it. These are the times I can buy it at, you know, in terms of my budget and stuff like that. So I was fully sustaining my yellow bone self-madeness. Sustaining. It was in full operation. I was intentional, I was precise, I wasn't dropping the ball. In the bright side, excuse the pun, but in the bright side, it like my face and my legs looked the same, but at what cost? At what cost? My matric year nearing the end. I'm so glad that I just had that talk with myself, that I was just like, I'm not gonna be like Isqila. I'm not gonna be a slave to this thing. When am I gonna die? Every day, my money chopping by investing in this yellow bone. Like, it doesn't even maintain itself. If I stop, I burn. Why? So I was just like, no, child, I'm done. Like, cut the show.
Cut the show.
I'm done. I'm not gonna be bullied by this thing burning me into system. Why? And I'm so grateful, like, my skin is such a good sport, because like a lot of things could have happened to my skin in the process of those 3 years. I didn't catch on skin cancer. I'm not gonna allow myself to be pressured to be looking some type of way. If need be for me to be 2 skin tones, I'm okay with that. That's me. I'm gonna be fine. I think around the time I started recognizing that my mom, as a child, she was a lot darker than she was as like an adult. So I was contrasting those things, that perhaps also myself, I was going through that journey, because both of my parents are not dark toned people. So I was, you know, confused by the fact that I don't look like either of them. My mom's old pictures are like, I was like, oh okay, she used to be dark and then she was light, and I used to think that she used bleaching cream for her to get to that point, but I realized now that she didn't. It was just her skin that transitioned to her being the skin tone. I sat on myself and I thought to myself, do I really want to go into varsity and I am a yellow bone by Fong Kong? Like, let me restart. So the December of that year, I just completely stopped using it, and I was intentional about not going anywhere that year because I knew that my skin would break out, that I would go a darker, like shades darker than my original skin. So now my face and my neck are just dark and then the rest of my body is just light. I was willing to go through that. I was willing to go through just everything that thing caused me to go through because I was stopping it, and I was going through it. I started with pimples, my pores were just screaming, I was always sweating, and then I went dark. Like, I was so dark and like being pashy, like I was so ashy. Even if I put Vaseline, I was looking like I was dying. Like, I looked literally like I was dying because around that time as well, I cut my hair. Like, there was a lot going on. I was just focused on just getting my original skin tone back, and it went even on to January, you know. So it took about 2 months and 2 weeks for my skin to actually recover. By the time I went to varsity, my skin was healed, thank the Lord. And the tint of yellow bone-ness, I had completely put it down. I said, thank you. Thank you. I don't wanna be a yellow bone by a tent. But obviously, like, even in varsity, because in my first year I did play hockey, second year, third year, fourth year I was playing soccer, also that, like, I was exposed to sunlight for long periods of time. But now, as you can see, like, from my neck to my chest to my arms, I'm not gonna show you guys my legs, but my face and my legs, my face and my legs are finally in coordination. They're the same. After not doing sports for a couple of years now, my skin has completely balanced itself out. Like, my legs and my face look the same. You would see me in the street and you would know that this is the same person. So I guess it was just a matter of just time as well, and allowing my body to do what it needed to do, because it knows what it needs to do. It knows. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure that you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, do take care. Goodbye. Mwah.